is Sibigele Maposa, and this broadcast comes to you from Montrose in Bulawayo. Susan Masona is on sign language. Let's take a look at tonight's headlines. Cabinet approves slashing of fees and levies in the agriculture sector. Zimbabwe expands Caribbean investments to advance UN Security Council campaign. And in business, Multilateral Cooperation Center for Development Finance engages Zimbabwe on infrastructure projects. And in sports, Zimbabwe to host the 2026 African Schools Football Finals in April. Let's now take a look at the news in detail. The 2025 performance evaluation results for public sector officials announced this Monday revealed the top and bottom performers across various sectors, with local authorities coming under the spotlight for performing below expectation. The President, Dr. Emmerson Mnangagwa, noted the need for local authorities to address the performance gaps. Let's get the details.
As has become the tradition since 2021, office bearers, who include cabinet ministers, board members, and parastatal chief executive officers, as well as ministers of state for provincial affairs and those serving in the country's local authorities, are bound by performance contracts which they sign each year. The evaluation results for 2025 were announced this Monday, and local authorities were among the worst performers. The local authorities are key in ensuring service delivery across the country, hence the below-standard performance affects delivery of social services. President Mnangagwa highlighted that the gaps in local authorities need to be addressed.
Meanwhile, I'm aware of performance management gaps in local authorities. Hence, to complement the innovative minimum service delivery standards, additional reform measures are necessary to address the concerns of our grassroots communities.
The head of state noted the need to continuously realign the country's legal instruments, saying it's key for reforms in the public sector.
The journey of our public sector reforms now requires the continuous realignment of our legal instruments. These should help to improve reporting and public disclosure of performance results, as well as eliminate corruption, negligence, and poor service delivery. Government stands ready to ensure that performance contracting is broadened to cater for the different levels and grades in the public sector. This will, however, require more skills and capacities in results-based management. In this respect, the Public Service Commission, through its academies across the country, is called upon to build a wider skills base.
President Mnangagwa also noted the benefits of the new peer review mechanism to the country's evaluation system, saying it is a welcome innovation.
The introduction of the new peer review mechanism to our evaluation system is a welcome innovation. The fact that the approach entails the involvement of peers, subordinates, seniors, and citizens in performance evaluation, I think, is applauded. This should help enhance credibility and objectivity of our performance contracting system. Similarly, our National Development Strategy number 2 outlines national and sectoral targets to be implemented by both MDAs with strong collaboration from other stakeholders. To this end, We must consolidate the whole of government and society approach modalities for seamless harmonization and synergies.
The country's evaluation system, based on the performance contracts, is expected to foster better results among public sector officials and urge them towards ensuring excellent service delivery. Josephine Mugio, CBC News, Harare.
National hero Major General retired Herbert Chingono has been described as a loyal general officer who was dedicated to the national cause.
A funeral parade for the national hero Major General retired Chingono was held at Charles Gumbo Barracks this Tuesday.
The parade was presided over by Commander Zimbabwe Defense Forces General Emmanuel Matatu, who described the late national hero as a distinguished and dedicated military officer who served the country with honor and loyalty.
This class led the Zimbabwe Defense Forces in the formative years of the Zimbabwe Defense Forces. They burned the midnight oil to restructure the ZDF, to develop the concepts and doctrine that saw the Zimbabwe Defense Forces perform well in two major campaigns. First was the Mozambique campaign and the Democratic Republic of Congo campaign, and also on United Nations and other SADC-sponsored, AU-sponsored peacekeeping operations. This earned the Zimbabwe Defense Forces the respect that we command in the region and beyond.
Those who closely interacted with him said he was an intelligent officer.
We worked together very, very well. I remember when we met, I was still at the Zimbabwe Military Academy in Gweru. He came there with some artillery unit, a battery, I think, when we were undertaking some military exercises. There had been some problem in registering those guns so that they could hit the targets accurately. When he arrived on the scene, he changed everything, and within a very short space of time, the guns were on target. That was Herbert Chingono.
We are sending off professional soldier, a liberator. I worked with him in different appointments, and he excelled. He did well, and as a commander, I was happy to have him by my side whenever I had difficult situations.
He is survived by his wife Lois and 6 children. The decorated soldier died on Monday this week and will be buried on Monday next week at the National Heroes Acre during a triple burial ceremony. Peter Chivima, ZBC News, Harare.
The Harare Metropolitan Province has described national hero Comrade Cosmas Chiringa as a dedicated public servant.
The sun has set on Harare Metropolitan Province Permanent Secretary for Provincial Affairs and Devolution. His body was taken to his home for the last time before burial. The church noted he was a devout Christian.
Chiringa munhu watakashanda naye zvakanaka kumachechi. Munhu watainzwisisa kuti kana tikaenda nezvichemo zvedu taitambirwa zvakanyanyisa muno muHarare Province.
From the family residence in Newlands, the body of national hero Comrade Cosmas Chiringa was taken to the ZANU-PF Harare Province offices, where family, friends and colleagues got a chance to bid farewell to the late liberation struggle war veteran. Colleagues described him as a hard-working and dedicated public servant.
Angakazvipira zvakanyanya yetinoti sacrifice yake pachirungu yanga yakapfurikidza kubva paakaenda kuhondo sekumuziya kwandakaita munhu asina kana kumbotsauka.
The moment he became PS for Harare Metropolitan Province, the coordination between the government and the party improved.
He was able to build a good relationship between the party and government.
Harare Metropolitan Province Minister of State for Provincial Affairs and Devolution, Senator Charles Tavengwa, who worked closely with Comrade Chiringa in advancing government's agenda of devolution and development, said the gap that has been left by the national hero will be a difficult one to fill.
Comrade Cosmas Chiringa was a gentleman, yet he provided firm leadership and clear direction in provincial governance. As chairperson of the Provincial Development Committee, that is the PDC, he ensured that government priorities were effectively coordinated and implemented in line with the ZANU-PF resolutions.
Comrade Chiringa's favorite statement was "A revolutionary never dies," and that sentiment was echoed this afternoon as Harare Province said goodbye to their permanent secretary. The body of the late national hero will lie in state at Charles Gumbo Barracks with his burial set for Monday. Panashe Nagoli, ZBC News, Harare.
Government continues to institute ease of doing business reforms across various sectors of the economy, with this Tuesday's cabinet approving the slashing of fees, levies and permits in the agriculture sector.
The process of slashing fees and levies targeting several sectors of the economy in order to reduce the cost of doing business started last year, and so far these reforms have been effected in several sectors of the economy. This Tuesday, the Minister of Information, Publicity and Broadcasting Services, Honorable Jem Soda, announced the review of licenses targeting the agricultural sector.
Cabinet approved the streamlining of duplicated and overlapping regulatory licenses and permits, removed unnecessary levies and fees, and lowered unjustifiably high levies and fees for the agricultural subsectors comprising crops, horticulture, fisheries, and fertilizer, as per the following highlights. The first one, reduction of the Agricultural Marketing Authority contractor registration fees for crops from $1,000 to $250. Second one, reduction of the Agricultural Marketing Authority trader registration fees from $1,000 to $100. Reduction of the effluent discharge cost from $27,000 to $13,500. Then reduction of the pesticide registration fee from $300 to $150. Removal of the 15.5% value-added tax on fish and fish product sales. Reduction of the National Parks and Wildlife Management Authority lake lease fees from $30,000 to $15,000, and the removal of fish harvest fees, which was pegged at $7.50 per ton.
In instances whereby revenues of some of these state entities are negatively affected by the introduction of these reforms, the Minister of Finance, Economic Development and Investment Promotion, Professor Mthuli Ncube, said the government will cushion some of these state entities.
Treasury stands ready to support those entities, regulatory entities, that whose revenues will come under pressure from this reduction in fees and levies. And besides, entities that are being regulated in the corporate sector should make a bit more money, so Treasury should also raise a bit more funding from them, resources from the corporate taxes and so forth. So we should have some revenue to support these entities.
Cabinet considered and approved a new governance framework aimed at enhancing regulatory oversight, improving customer protection, as well as expanding access to renewable energy.
The instruments will further strengthen and complement both the existing legal frameworks and the Zimbabwe National Energy Compact that was launched in 2025 to ensure energy security, efficiency, and resilience in line with the objectives of Vision 2030. The specific principles of the statutory instruments and regulations are as follows. Number one, Energy Regulatory Notice 2026, focusing on designation of energy sources. Number two, Energy Regulations of 2026, focusing on solar products and installations. Number three, Energy Regulations, again of 2026, focusing on minimum energy performance standards for appliances. Then the fourth one is electricity regulations of 2026, focusing on energy management. The fifth one is energy regulations of 2026, focusing on provision of backbone infrastructure. The sixth one is electricity regulations of 2026, focusing on export controls. The seventh one is electricity regulations, again of 2026, focusing on own consumption and undertakings licensing capacity. And lastly, electricity regulations of 2026, focusing on electricity vehicle charging station safety.
These EVCs will be regulated like all other electricals. This is to ensure for safety, and that safety can include fire. And we are afraid if you don't have very good regulated chargers, your vehicles might burn. And we are looking at those which have come in the country, and we are making sure that they conform to standards.
A cabinet also approved an update on Zimbabwe's participation at the forthcoming 61st International Art Exhibition to be held in Italy from May to November this year.
The Venice Biennale is the world's most prestigious platform for visual arts exhibition, which will enable Zimbabwean artists, curators, and thinkers to articulate their own perspectives, histories, and futures. Zimbabwe's presence will enhance its visibility among influential international stakeholders, fostering relationships that extend beyond arts into tourism, education, and broader economic partnerships. Zimbabwe is participating for the 8th consecutive year, having made its debut at the 54th edition of International Arts Showcase in 2011.
A cabinet also received a report from Vice President General retired Dr. Constantino Chiwenga on his visit to Goa in India last year in December. And another report also came from Vice President Kenel retired Dr. Kembo Mohadi on his attendance at the Kakaro and Kavalamanji commemorations in Zambia this month. Owen Mandova, ZBC News, Harare.
Government and ruling party leaders have consoled the Mpama-Wande family after the death of Comrade Alison Mpama-Wande, who has been declared a national hero.
A high-powered delegation of government officials visited the Mpama-Wande family in Centenary to pay their condolences on Monday night. Home Affairs and Cultural Heritage Minister Honorable Kazembe Kazembe read the letter conferring national hero status to the family, highlighting the recognition of his bravery and courage in the liberation struggle.
semusha womuzarabani seprovinsi yeMashanal Central tarasikirwa negamba magamba ari kutisiya zuva nezuva. Saka ndichigara ndakataura kune vamwe vangu kune vamwe vese kuti ngatiremekedzei magamba maringe nebasa ravakatiitira. Vakatakura mutoro unorema kuenda kunze kuno kwenyika kunotirwira.
The Minister of Information, Publicity and Broadcasting Services, Honorable Ushe Musoda, who is also ZANU-PF Muzarabani District Coordinating Committee Chairperson, consoled the Mpama-Wande family on behalf of the ruling party.
Tiri kutenda zvikuru manheru ano kuti President vedu vaMunangagwa vatinyaradza semhuri yeMuzarabani. Takashayikirwa na Comrade Mpama-Wande vane zita rekuhondo rekunzi vamagara sadza. Panga paita tumazuva asi nhasi tava nemufaro wakakura wekuwana mhinduro uye neruremekedzo rwapuwa vamagara sadza kucherechedza basa ravakaita rekurwira nyika ino, kuisunungura, kuzvipira kwavakaita. Ndo vamwe vevamwe vasina kuita ukomana hwako hwemazuva ano.
Delivering his condolence message, Mashonaland Central Minister of State for Provincial Affairs and Devolution, Honorable Christopher Magomo said the province has been robbed of a decorated war hero.
Zvinorwadza kuti tashayikirwa zvichokwadi negamba
asi tinoda kutenda His Excellency the President of the Republic of Zimbabwe Dr. Emmerson Mnangagwa neruremekedzo rwavapa kumwana wedu weMashonaland Central Province wokuva national hero. Ipapo pega panotinyaradza nokuti zvinoreva kuti mabasa avakaita anenge aremekedzwa acherechedzwa.
Family spokesperson Mr. Peter Mshayavano thanked the President, Dr. Emmerson Mnangagwa, for honoring Comrade Mpamaonde with national hero status.
Noda kutenda zvikuru nokuunganirwa nokutekwa nokutungamiriri hurumende izvi zvinoshamisa izvi. Tinozvitenda zvikuru. Ndichikumbira zvakare kuti Minister, Honorable Minister Kazembe vanga vari panapa. Tokumbirawo motisvitsira kuna His Excellency the President of Zimbabwe, Comrade E.D. Mnangagwa, kuti semhuri yoMupamaonde matiremekedza gamba. Tinokutendai motisvitsirawo kuna baba.
Mourners are gathered at Chipiri Farm in Centenary. Tapiwa Machemedze, ZBC News, Mzarabani.
The Department of Presidential Communications in the Office of the President and Cabinet is advising the public to be alert of individuals who are impersonating or claiming association with the Office of the President, Vice President retired Dr. Constantino Chiwenga and his wife Colonel Minyotabo Baloyi Chiwenga. In a statement, Deputy Chief Secretary of Presidential Communications, Mr. George Charamba, say the imposters are using, among others, South African and Nigerian telephone numbers to contact citizens and foreigners with malicious intent to solicit and extort money, services, or personal information. Mr. Charamba further clarified that Vice President Chiwenga and his wife do not have X accounts, urging citizens to disregard any such accounts claiming association with the two or purporting to project their views on any matter. He urged those affected to verify any communication purporting to be from the Vice President or his wife, saying or official communication involving the Vice President, his wife, or household follows proper official channels. Mr. Chiramba said relevant government arms are engaging telecommunication authorities in Nigeria and South Africa to bring the culprits to book. Zimbabwe's campaign for a non-permanent seat on the United Nations Security Council continues to gain momentum with high-level engagements in the Caribbean islands.
The Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Trade, Professor Amon Murwira, who is also President Emmerson Mnangagwa's special envoy for the campaign, has begun his Caribbean mission in St. Lucia. This Monday, Professor Murwira held talks with St. Lucia's Minister of External Affairs, Alva Baptiste, in a meeting that marked a significant step in strengthening relations between Zimbabwe and St. Lucia, with both sides highlighting shared historical and cultural ties linking Africa to the Caribbean.
There are plenty of opportunities for us to explore, especially in this very turbulent global environment. There is no blueprint that exists for cooperation and, of course, engagement. We can create that blueprint by Africa and the Caribbean coming together and having meetings to arrive at conclusions and recommendations that could instigate concrete responses within the decision-making bodies of our governments. So today is a continuation of a conversation that started a long time ago, and certainly we are looking forward in a few months to come, sign diplomatic relations with Zimbabwe as we continue to strengthen the ties that we have and the bonds of friendship.
Minister Baptiste also highlighted the importance of Africa-Caribbean cooperation in shaping responses to global challenges, adding that the two regions can work together to contribute to peace, stability, and development. Zimbabwe's diplomatic push for the Security Council seat has seen the country engaging partners across different regions with support from fellow developing nations viewed as crucial. Olina Ndori, ZBC News.
Stiffer measures await illegal miners and settlers invading gazetted forests as government works in amending existing legislation on the protection of forests. This comes as the country continues to record heavy losses in forest cover, estimated at 300,000 hectares annually due to timber logging, felled fires, and undesignated settlements.
Within the next 4 days, Zimbabwe will join the rest of the world to commemorate the International Forest Day. Now, this is a day that has been set aside for governments across the world to ensure that they enhance focus on preservation of their natural habitats. While Zimbabwe has made strides to ensure that it protects its forests, it is also alive to the prevailing challenges that decimated over 260,000 hectares of forests annually. Now, this is fueled by factors such as illegal timber logging, illegal mining activities in gazetted forests and plantations, and also undesignated settlements.
We are working on that now, together with the Minister of Justice, the Attorney General's office, to make sure that we have a legal instrument to punish those that are damaging our environment.
The annual forest loss, estimated to be around 260,000 hectares per year, continues to provide a lot of pressure and headache for authorities. Now, to understand just how this trend is a huge impact on the country's forests, we spoke to the Forestry Commission of Zimbabwe, who estimated that the country could be losing several thousands of United States dollars annually.
We had a situation where we discovered that we were losing some of our indigenous forest trees of commercial value to timber poachers. So we discovered that 3,120 trees had been stolen. We had lost timber of commercial value of 1,090 cubic meters, which is worth 310,566 just for those trees that were lost.
The impact of loss of forest cover is not only felt in terms of a loss of commercial value, but on a broader scale, its impact can also be felt in terms of the country's ability to addressing climate change, as trees act as an important element to carbon sequestration. Theophilus Chuma, ZBC News, Harare.
A Harare man, Mr. Julius Buzz, is being celebrated for a lifetime of giving after donating blood hundreds of times over nearly 5 decades. It is a rare milestone that is now inspiring a renewed call for Zimbabweans to support the national blood supply.
It's hard to imagine the level of commitment it takes to donate blood. Not once, not 10 times, but 300 times. But for Mr. Julian Buzz, it all started with a simple decision back in 1977 at the age of 25. That simple mindset is what carried him all the way to 300 donations before he eventually had to stop at the age of 70, not by choice, but by regulation.
We started it as a group out of the office, friends and that. There were about 5 or 6 of us. And one of the guys had been donating for years. His name's up on the boards here. He managed to get to about 200. We just kept donating. We kept coming. It was a regular thing, and it's just the commitment stayed, and we just kept going. It's a commitment to try and help and to do what you can.
And it's not just him. Blood donation runs in the family, with his wife also playing her part, having donated dozens of times. Speaking at the event, National Blood Service Zimbabwe Chief Executive Officer Ms. Lucy Marowa described Mr. Buzz's achievement as both rare and deeply inspiring, challenging common misconceptions around blood donation.
Every unit that you gave, National Blood Service Zimbabwe is thankful, and someone out there is thankful today because they had a chance of life. That selflessness is what we are celebrating today. And it is that selflessness that I'm saying to the nation of Zimbabwe, let's take a leaf and challenge one another. If you've never donated blood before, like somebody said, Mr. Mtendra said, then start today.
Mr. Buzz's legacy goes beyond the 300 pints he gives. It lives in the people who are still here today because of those donations, and in the families who got more time with their loved ones. And as more Zimbabweans are being encouraged to come forward, His story is a simple reminder that giving blood might feel like a small gesture, but to someone out there, it is a matter of life and death. Abigail Tembo, ZBC News, Harare.
The cotton industry is poised for exciting times after the unveiling of a new interspecific cotton hybrid seed, which has the potential to double yields to 3,600 kilograms per hectare.
The cotton industry, which has over the years faced a sharp decline in production, is set for good times following the unveiling of a new cotton seed hybrid by local breeders at the Cotton Research Institute in Kadoma.
These hybrids have demonstrated strong adaptability under water-limited conditions. When compared to the current conventional open-pollinated varieties, these interspecific hybrids, they yield up to 3,600 kgs per hectare.
In appreciation of the great strides being made by the local cotton breeders, the Minister of Lands, Agriculture, Fisheries, Water and Rural Development, Dr. Angus Masuka, is upbeat that the new cotton seed will be multiplied by the Agricultural Rural Development Authority seed processing entity for distribution to farmers come 2027.
OPV has not performed well on account of the nature in which we have selected the seed. And we have said we need to go back to get seed producers so that we select elite OPV seed. But we also now have a hybrid of cotton produced by the Cotton Research Institute, which is now being multiplied by other seeds. And we think that we will have enough of this bulk for the 2027 season. I know that there are a lot of challenges within the cotton sector, but we are collectively addressing these, and I look forward to a very bright future for the cotton industry.
Dubbed the white gold, cotton is a strategic cash crop, a foreign currency earner, and a source of livelihood for over 400,000 families in the rural areas of Gokwe, Muzarabani, Sanyati, Chiredzi, and Mount Dawing, among others. Tendai Munengwa, ZBC News, Harare.
The Civic Society and Churches Joint Forum has declared its support for the Constitutional Amendment No. 3 bill aimed at ensuring the country's roadmap to achieve Vision 2030 is not threatened by electoral cycle disruptions.
The Civic Society and Churches Joint Forum is unanimously in support of the Constitutional Amendment No. 3 bill, which seeks to extend the presidential and parliamentary terms from 5 to 7 years, describing it as a masterstroke to consolidating economic achievements under the Second Republic. Civic Society and Churches Joint Forum Manicaland Provincial Coordinator Reverend Walter Nyakunu cited the accelerated growth in the country's gross domestic product (GDP) as a testimony of President Emmerson Mnangagwa's able leadership, which should be the rallying point for all Zimbabweans to support the extension of his term in office.
Tikatarisa before 2017 President Mnangagwa vapinda pachigaro tanga tiri kuma 22 billion US dollars. But iko zvino tafamba 2026 unoyu tafamba kusvika pa 55 billion US dollars. Zvichireva kuti nyika yedu yeZimbabwe, hama dzangu, iri kuonekwa senyika pasi rese ine fast move zvikuru sei panyaya yeeconomy. Saka tiri kuti isusu Vision 2030 tinenge takaitsigira seorganization yeCivic Society. Tiri kufamba pamwechete na president wedu, President Emmerson Dambudzo Mnangagwa.
Mashonaland East Civic Society and Churches Joint Forum Provincial Coordinator Mr. Edmund Machiso outlined a number of unparalleled developments that have resulted in his grouping supporting the move to amend the constitution.
Bill rakanaka nekuti tine zvimwe zvatiri kuona president vari kuita. Munhu ngaave nenguva yakareba achitonga 7 years kuti zvinhu zvake zvinatso maplans akaenenga nawo anosvika kumazadzisa.
The recent declaration by the Civic Society and the Churches Joint Forum in support of the Constitutional Amendment No. 3 bill signifies the growing support for the proposed amendments to the National Constitution. Kenya's Chifushe, ZBC News, Marondera.
For more news, you can log on to our website at www.zbcnews.co.zw, and we would also like to hear from you and interact with you on our Facebook page, our X handle, and our YouTube page at ZBC News Online. But let's take a look at stories to expect in this bulletin. Multilateral Cooperation Center for Development Finance engages Zimbabwe on infrastructure projects. And in sports, Zimbabwe to host 2026 AFCON schools football finals in April. The news will now take a break, but don't go away.
The Office of the Vice President, Honorable Colonel Retired Dr. KCD Mohadi, and the Ministry of Health and Childcare invite corporates and individuals to the Ingucheni Central Hospital fundraising luncheon on Friday, 20 March 2026 at 12 noon, ZITF Hall 4, Bulawayo. The guest of honor is His Excellency President Dr. Emmerson Dambudzo Mnangagwa. Your presence and support will help mobilize resources to improve facilities, enhance patient care, and strengthen mental health services for our communities. Be part of a noble cause. Together, let us restore hope, dignity, and healing. Nyika inovakwa nevene wayo, ilizwe lakiwa ngabanikazi balo. For sponsorship and participation details, contact the organizers today on 0712 322 621. or 0774 078 111 or 0772 617 399.
Every day, millions of moments travel through the air. A call home, a payment made, a lesson learned, a life saved. But behind each moment is something steady, something quiet, unseen, unshaken, powering connection, supporting lives. This is Econet Infraco, Zimbabwe's largest private infrastructure group, comprising towers, power, and real estate. We build and operate the essential systems that hold the country together with scale, certainty, and purpose. We bring together three powerful engines of progress under one roof. Towers that carry the signal, clean energy that keeps it alive, and foundations that hold it all in one place. Because behind every connection, every transaction, every step forward, there's a quiet force. Econet Infraco, built for resilience, designed for growth.
Every day, Africa's financial institutions protect something priceless: trust. Trust to move money safely, keep economies running, and support customers whenever they need it. But the landscape is shifting. Security threats are rising, regulations are tougher, and customers' expectations are higher. Downtime is simply not an option. That's why financial institutions need infrastructure that is secure, resilient, and built to scale. Liquid Intelligent Technologies powers Africa's financial sector to operate safely, efficiently, and without interruption. From branches to data centers and the cloud, we deliver mission-critical connectivity with 24/7 operations that detect threats early. With world-class data centers and continent-wide disaster recovery, Liquid keeps services online at all times. Our network drives fast, secure transactions so banks and fintechs can serve customers instantly. We build the digital foundation for Africa's financial future.
The Consumer Protection Commission invites all consumers in Zimbabwe to join us at Urban Lifestyles Hotel in Masvingo on the 18th of March 2026, as we join the rest of the world in commemorating World Consumer Rights Day. This year's theme, Safe Products and Confident Consumers, reminds us that product safety and consumer confidence go hand in hand. When products are safe, consumers can participate fully in the marketplace without fear. Together, we can ensure that our markets deliver products that are safe, reliable, and trustworthy. Join us in Masvingo as we celebrate this important day and speak with one voice against substandard, counterfeit, unsafe, and illicit products. Consumer Protection Commission, protecting the rights of every consumer.
Well, we apologize for the technical glitch right there. And once again, thank you, Sibukile, for taking us on that stretch, and the team in Montrose. We continue with the report where Zimbabwe is taking steps to safeguard young people online, with government considering a child online protection policy to protect children from social media's potential harm.
Zimbabwe is serious about protecting its young people online, and this proposed policy has sparked conversations on child protection and safety.
Our learners live in a digital age. Now, technology is good for them, but it also has a negative side. There's such issues as online predators. They might be exposed to harmful content and also cyberbullying. So all these have negative impacts on their mental development as they are growing, they're still young, so we need to protect them. So I think this policy is very good.
If this law is implemented, I know the schools now, we have a part of which they are going to teach them how to use them until they are 18. Some of them now are now trying to experiment. Where are they seeing these key things? They are seeing them from what? From the social media.
Every child must be protected from violence, exploitation, and abuse on the internet. Now, this is according to UNICEF. The proposed policy has been welcomed by many who say that it will ensure that children are protected from the darker side of social media.
We are hoping at least our children can be able to reduce screen time, go back to playing. It enhances their physical health, it enhances their mental health, and we are hoping they can go back to having conversations, to practicing having and sustaining healthy relationships.
Other countries like Australia and France have already placed the legal frameworks holding social media platforms accountable. In Zimbabwe, the voice is clear. We need to ensure that our children are safe and protected online. Joyce Mabika, ZBC News, Harare.
We'll now take you back to our Montrose studios where Sibukile is on standby and ready to give us some more of what's happening. Sibukile, you can take it back.
Saying good evening, Zimbabwe. We carry on from this end. The ruling ZANU-PF is equipping the party's business secretaries to inform and enroll and teach people on the role of the party in the national development strategy in line with Vision 2030. ZANU-PF National Secretary for Business Development, Comrade Alphas Mashaba, spoke to our political editor, Bruce Chawanda, on the sidelines of a two-day workshop in Harare.
As mandated by our party constitution, each and every one of us as the secretaries, we are expected to have interface with our provincial secretaries so that we capacitate them in the knowledge, capacitate them in terms of the mandates which were given by the constitution, which we drive our mandate from section 96 of the party constitution, which among others stipulates that we create synergies with other party businesses, we create business relationships within and outside the country, and so forth, and the growth of the party businesses. So it is also mandatory for us as a party to be able to bring together business, government agencies, government ministries, as you can see, to come and be able to understand us and also pursue the party agendas as predicted or as stipulated by the party resolutions.
Strengthening access to victim-friendly services for gender-based violence survivors in Zimbabwe's hard-to-reach areas is a government priority, with the Mobile One-Stop Center initiative bringing essential services closer to people in need.
As the 70th session of the Commission on the Status of Women, CSW70, enters its second and final week, Zimbabwe this Monday hosted a side event that drew the conversation on one of its key programs, the mobile one-stop centers that are being carried out across the country. The dialogue also saw some of the participants interrogating some of the policies the government has also enacted to enable a safe and conducive environment for women and girls who go through gender-based violence.
We must continue strengthening gender-responsive laws and policy systems. Our parliament has played a critical role in creating a safer legal environment.
We are calling upon action practitioners, financial justice, and support services.
These victims prefer to be heard by their own people whom they trust, whom they know. So if we've got elders in the village who are trained by TOSE, there's a lot of reporting that happens.
But what we call at UN Women, which is assessing for risk or risk assessment, is to think about how do we know which victims are in the most danger and which ones aren't based on what's happened to them.
Cannot make a move if we are not calling for accountability for gender-based violence.
Monitoring, evaluation, and accountability remains some of the key tenets for the government in rendering justice systems and inclusion of women and girls in marginalized communities.
Many survivors of gender-based violence, particularly women and girls in rural and remote communities, justice for them can seem distant and constrained by barriers of geography, cost, stigma, and limited access.
Without economic stability, women may find themselves at risk of returning to violent situations. By embedding economic empowerment into the Mobile One-Stop Center model, we enable survivors to regain their dignity, their power, and also agency. This approach goes beyond income generation. It's about empowering women to choose safety, to demand justice, and assert their rights.
Our vision is to make sure that Zimbabwe, by 2013, has gotten into the upper middle income society level. And for us to do so, it means all our policies have got to be shaping towards that challenging goal.
The dialogue also served as a catalyst, calling for stronger partnerships between Zimbabwe and other African countries in ending gender-based violence and advancing meaningful empowerment for women and girls. Memory Chapisa, ZBC News, New York.
The second edition of the Livestock Conference, which kicks off in Bulawayo this Thursday, is set to focus on advancing livestock value chains to promote growth of the agricultural sector in line with Vision 2030.
The Livestock Conference, a collaboration between the Zimbabwe International Trade Fair Companies (ZITF) and the Ministry of Lands, Agriculture, Fisheries, Water and Rural Development, is set to run under the theme Advancing Livestock Value Chains for Economic Development. The conference will cast the spotlight on transformation of agricultural value chains through encouraging adoption of smart agricultural practices.
The focus of this conference really is the idea is to advance livestock value chains for economic development. Really, the idea is to spotlight the livestock industry and identify those areas that can be accelerated so that the contribution of the livestock sector in the economy is strengthened. And we're expecting 150 to 200 people to be participating in the conference itself. And then on the sidelines of the conference, we are likely to have an excursion, a practical, where people can go on a field visit.
In line with protecting the livestock sector and safeguarding the national herd from tick-borne diseases, government recently released $2 million United States for chemicals.
I'm happy that in the previous 2 weeks, RBZ and the Treasury, they released 2 million meant for our supplies, but that was meant for what we collected last year. So we still encourage them to do the same this year.
Over 200 delegates in the livestock sector are expected to converge for this year's conference, which aims to stimulate the contribution of the livestock industry to the economy. Lisa Kodera, ZBC News, Bulawayo.
Muduvuri Pan-African Referral Hospital in Kadoma has received a major boost amid revelations that specialist doctors will offer services for free.
The fully equipped Muduvuri Pan-African Referral Hospital in Kadoma is yet to fully realize its potential in offering specialist services. There is, however, a silver lining after experienced senior clinical and interventional radiologist Dr. Kaming Wove led a group of 8 doctors on a facility tour of the institution this Sunday. Impressed by the equipment at the hospital, Dr. Wove revealed that his team will soon offer free specialist health services, saying the initiative resonates with the presidential philosophy that a nation is built by its own people.
We willingly coming over here is to learn and then see what we didn't know is happening at this hospital. And with the expertise that has been put in us, surely this is a starting point, and I'm committing myself to say, yeah, why not? Let us help the people by bringing in more qualified staff.
Dr. Wove, who is also a lecturer at the University of Zimbabwe, said the hospital has strong potential to become a practical training center for medical students.
This place can actually be a facility where medicine and the doctors should come to converge and develop Zimbabwean solutions.
We believe that with regards to the theatre itself, currently it is actually well equipped and is actually almost ready for for the first cases.
Philanthropist Comrade Jimai Muduvuri welcomed the gesture, saying the inclusion of private individuals will complement government efforts to improve health services. Government, under the call to action policy, is promoting a whole-of-stakeholder approach in national development with emphasis on the philosophy that nyika inovakwa nevene vayo ilizwe lakiwa ngabanikazi valo. Tamuka Charakupa, ZBC News, Kadoma.
International oil prices rebounded sharply in intraday trading Tuesday as markets responded to uncertainty over a proposed U.S.-led naval escort engagement in the Strait of Hormuz, alongside reports that a tanker anchored in the Gulf of Oman was stuck and struck by an unidentified projectile. Brent crude for May delivery rose from 3.08% to 103.30 United States dollars a barrel. A continued rise comes as Vice President of the European Commission, Kaja Kallas, on Monday said Europe did not have an appetite to extend its naval mission to the Strait of Hormuz, adding that the Red Sea remains critical for the EU. Kallas said the EU will maintain sanctions on Russian fossil fuels after the U.S. issued a 30-day waiver last week for countries to buy sanctioned Russian oil and petroleum products currently stranded at sea. U.S. President Donald Trump has threatened NATO allies with what he termed very bad consequences if they fail to help the U.S. reopen the crucial oil choke point. Meanwhile, the director of National Counterterrorism Center, Joseph Kent, has resigned from his post with immediate effect. In a post on his X page, Kent said he cannot, in good conscience, support the ongoing war in Iran, and Tehran posed as an imminent threat to the United States of America, but started the war due to pressure from Israel and its powerful American lobby. He added that influential members of the American media deployed a misinformation campaign that wholly undermined Trump's America First platform and sought pro-war sentiments to continue and encourage a war with Iran, saying America cannot continue losing lives as what happened in Iraq, calling on President Trump to change course. The main news will now take a break. Don't go away.
At CBZ Bank, we understand the unique challenges and needs of those in the mining sector. So we offer a comprehensive suite of financial services tailored specifically for this sector. Our lease finance scheme lets you easily acquire heavy mining equipment without breaking the bank. And with value chain financing, we help streamline your operations by providing funds for input suppliers and buyers within your supply chain. Need extra cash flow? Our overdraft facilities are here to help bridge any gaps in capital while you wait on payments from clients or investors. But that's not all. We also provide insurance services to protect against unexpected events that could disrupt your business, risk advisory and financial advisory services to ensure wise investments and strategic planning. CBZ Bank is committed to helping you succeed in the dynamic mining world. Trust us to be your partner every step of the way. CBZ Bank, partners for success.
I was hoping just to get in a hello, but Daniel beat me to it. You know what, he caught the dub, but little did the boy know he was about to catch an L.
Dibs!
This is a people's game. They will be bubbling about this one for weeks and months to come.
Wherever you are, whatever your reason, it's on SuperSport all season long. Reconnect and stay connected to DSTV Compact and get the best football on us.
Every beautiful sunrise begins with a fresh promise. From the early morning mission, the midday hustle, until the late midnight session, a sip of joy in every hand. We share the natural joy from the African heritage, either online or offline. Day in, day out, 24/7. It's pure, it's fresh, and it's real. It's locally available. From Zambezi to Limpopo, Checheche to Chachacha, it's always next to you. Captain Ginger Wise, a sip from our heritage.
Some things don't arrive. They've always been. Not for a day, for all of time. Until quietly, something shifts. Moving from someday to now. Women are not honored in time. They are woven through it, shaping every story, every voice, every breath. We are because she is, and because tomorrow they will be.
Welcome back. Let's take a look at business news. Zimbabwe is attracting the interest of global financiers for infrastructure development, with the latest being a China-based multilateral cooperation center for development finance team, which is in the country to access capital requirements for investment projects.
The team, which is in Zimbabwe since Tuesday this week, is holding discussions with officials from the Ministry of Finance, Economic Development and Investment Promotion, as well as officials from the Ministry of Transport and Infrastructure Development, led by its Chief Executive Officer, Mr. Jing Jong Wong. The Multilateral Cooperation Center for Development Finance is also looking into possibilities of granting long-term offshore credit lines to Zimbabwe.
When we talk about infrastructure, we are talking about a lot of money. We are looking for long-term funding. And this bank, as far as we are concerned, it is going to help us a lot in terms of funding our long-term projects over and above. The interest rates on themselves are going to be favorable to us.
Administered by the Asian Infrastructure Investment Bank, the Multilateral Cooperation Center for Development Finance is also looking into a partnership with the government of Zimbabwe on key construction projects.
If you are having international players like this getting excited, they are looking ahead, they are looking into the future, and they are seeing where the economy of Zimbabwe is going. So there's the issue of viability of the market in the outlook, which if they conclude the discussions and bring in some resources, it's a huge relief on Treasury, which will allow them then to attend to other issues, whilst ensuring that infrastructure is being taken care of.
Findings and resolutions of the infrastructure value chains strategic meetings between the government of Zimbabwe and the Beijing-based Multilateral Cooperation Center for Development Finance will be released at the conclusion of the meetings this Wednesday. Stanley James, ZBC News, Harare.
We now look at the arts. In an industry where the spotlight often shines brightest on the lead act, the voices that build the soul of the music frequently remain in the shadows. This Women's Month, we turn the lens on one of Zimbabwe's unsung heroes, Fatima Katiji, popularly known in music circles as Stimela, a powerhouse backing vocalist whose voice has quietly shaped some of the country's most memorable hits.
With a radiant smile that lights up the stage, boundless energy and remarkable stamina, Stimela delivers performances that not only support the lead act, but often become the heartbeat of the show, captivating audiences with every note and movement. While audiences cheer the headline names, few stop to consider the harmonies that elevate a song from good to unforgettable. For over 2 decades, Stimela has been that voice, steady, powerful, and deeply embedded in Zimbabwe's music fabric. Over the years, she has lent her voice to some of Zimbabwe's biggest names, including Josh Meck, Diana Samkange, Alexio Kawara, and her sister Edith Wotonga, in a collaboration that saw them perform together at Amakosi and later form an all-female outfit in Harare. She continues to command the stage alongside Jah Praiser, bringing a signature energy and vocal strength to every performance. Speaking in a telephone interview, Stimela reflected on a journey that began in 2002 at Amakosi Theatre, where she honed a craft as part of an all-female ensemble, Amakosi Kazi.
My journey as a backing vocalist began in 2002 at Amakosi Theatre in Bulawayo. My love for music keeps me going every single day. I believe there is still more to explore in the world of art.
Stimela represents a group of artists whose contributions are rarely acknowledged. She is candid about the realities faced by backing vocalists.
Backing vocalists do not receive enough recognition in the music industry. If they did, we would also see them getting accolades.
Her story is one of resilience, passion, and quiet excellence, a reminder that behind every chart-topping song is a collective effort often led by voices that remain unnamed. As the world marks Women's Month, celebrating figures like Stimela is not just about recognition, it is about rewriting the narrative of the music industry to include those who have long stood just outside the spotlight.
In sport news, Zimbabwe is cementing its status as a favorable host for junior football tournaments after the Confederation of African Football (CAF) confirmed the country will host the 2026 African Schools Football Champion Finals in Zimbabwe this April.
Now in its fourth edition, the competition is Africa's flagship schools football program and has attracted more than 3 million participants across the continent since its inception in 2022. Zimbabwe's selection as host signals renewed confidence with regional powers following previous editions held in South Africa, Tanzania and Ghana. A total of 16 teams will take part in the tournament, including host Zimbabwe, defending champions Ghana in the girls category and Tanzania in the boys section. The competition, introduced by CAF President Patrice Motsepe, combines football development with education and social impact. The winners in the girls and boys categories are set to receive 300,000 United States dollars. Since the new Zimbabwe Football Association board assumed office last year, Zimbabwe has hosted a number of regional and continental tournaments, including the CAF Schools Championship COSAFA qualifiers, the COSAFA Under-17 tournament, and the CAF Gift Cup, among others. Lawrence Rusida, ZBC News, Harare.
The Kasalaga Premier Soccer League enters match day 3 with midweek fixtures set for Wednesday and Thursday, where Highlanders will get the ball rolling with Moors at Barberfield Stadium.
Expectations are high for Boss, who are celebrating a centenary milestone this year. The Bulawayo Giants, who have 2 points from 2 matches, will be gunning for maximum points to get their season back on track. Moors, who were runners-up in their debut season last year, have not fared any better with 2 points from their first 2 matches. In other matches, FC Hunters take on FC Platinum at Rufaro Stadium, while Triangle host early pace setters Cape United at Gibbo Stadium. Ambitious New Boys had Rock Welcome Chicken in at Chawanda Stadium, while Ngezi Platinum Stars clash with ZPC Karibo at Baobab. Tail 1 will be up against Simba Bora at Ascot. On Thursday, Bulawayo Chiefs host Dynamos at Barberfields. Manica Diamonds entertain defending champions Scotland at Gibbo, while Rentals lock horns with Agama at Rufaro Stadium. Mchokozi Sitube, ZBC News, Bulawayo.
The Zimbabwe Under-19 women cricket team, the Young Lady Chevrons, are set to make their history when they embark on their maiden campaign at the Patricia Kambarami Cup, formerly Nigeria Invitational Women's T20 International Tournament, set for Lagos this Friday.
Zimbabwe's rising stars alongside South Africa's young guns are set to bring fresh energy to the tournament, pitting themselves alongside the seasoned nationals sides such as Nigeria, Rwanda, as well as Ghana. Now, Zimbabwe's first assignment on the opening day will be up against Nigeria, the host, as the tournament will run until the 29th of this month. This tournament is not just a debut, it's a crucial stepping stone for the Young Lady Chevrons as they are gearing up for the Africa Division 1 qualifiers come September in Tanzania, eyeing for a spot in the 2027 ICC Under-19 Women's T20 World Cup that will be staged in Bangladesh and Nepal. The tournament's new name, the Patricia Kambarami Cup, honors the late Zimbabwean cricket administrator's contributions to the growth and development of the sport across Africa. Anna Shemrombezi, ZBC News, Harare.
Let's take a look at the weather.
A pleasant evening. Welcome to the weather report and focus. Yesterday, we had scattered thunderstorms across much parts of the country, mainly over the northern half, with 53 being the highest in Buffalo Range, followed by 51 millimeters of rainfall in Karoi as well as Mburi, with 48 millimeters recorded in Mutare. And this was caused by the abundance of moisture in the atmosphere brought in by 2 different systems, cool moist winds from the southeast coupled by moisture from the northeastern parts of Zimbabwe. Today, cloudy and mild conditions prevailed in the morning in all areas. However, as the day made headway, we had warm conditions across all areas with scattered thunderstorms, mainly over the northern half of the country. Now, as we move on, we are expecting mild conditions to prevail throughout the night, with the highest being 21 degrees Celsius over Kariba area as well as the southeastern parts of the country, with chances of scattered thunderstorms over the west and stretching through the central up to Mashonaland and east. Tomorrow, generally warm across the country. Maximum temperatures highest over the northwestern parts of the country as well as the southeastern parts of the country, as we are expecting some more sunny breaks. Scattered thunderstorms cannot be ruled out during the afternoon and evening. Bulawayo mild at first becoming warm by the afternoon throughout the forecast period, with chances of scattered thunderstorms in places. Same applies for Matopos. Mild at first becoming warm as the day progresses. Gwanda should be raining from Friday onwards, with some chances of isolated showers for Wednesday and Thursday. Gweru, mild at first becoming warm by the afternoon. Scattered thunderstorms cannot be ruled out. Same applies for Masvingo. Abundance of moisture might cause some rainfall activity in those areas. Mutare, Eastern Highlands, 70% chance of rain on Wednesday. Cool at first becoming warm by the afternoon for Nyanga, with chances of scattered thunderstorms during the afternoon and at night. Marondera, cool in the morning, becoming warm by the afternoon. Thunderstorms cannot be ruled out throughout the forecast period. Harare as well, we are expecting heavy rainfall for Wednesday onwards into Saturday, though mild in the morning and evening. Kadoma, chances of scattered thunderstorms are expected as well. Mild at first, becoming warm by the afternoon. Chinoi, over the northern parts of Zimbabwe, scattered thunderstorms are expected. Chances of localized heavy pours in places. Victoria Falls, mild in the morning, becoming warm by the afternoon throughout the forecast period, with chances of scattered thunderstorms in places. Lupani, partly cloudy tomorrow, with chances of isolated showers during the afternoon. From Thursday onwards, scattered thunderstorms are expected. Bindura, heavy rainfall expected with localized heavy pours in places. Mild at first, becoming warm by the afternoon. Kariba, isolated showers for Thursday and increasing as we get into Friday onwards. That's all weather news. Good night.
Well, that'll be all from the news this Tuesday evening. My name is Sibigele Maposa. Special thank you to Susan Masonya on the sign language desk and the team behind the scenes.